Ahoy guys, and welcome back to I Like Watches. Today I am wearing my 1963. I bought this around 5 years ago now from a website based in Germany called Poljot24. At the time I had no idea AliExpress even existed, so I paid a pretty penny for this one, but I don't regret it. It is an iconic watch, probably the most famous Chinese watch ever made. I love it. Stunning movement. Stunning design. It is, of course, a homage of a Chinese military watch that was made by Sea-Gull in 1963, hence it's known as the 1963. There are lots and lots of homage watches that look just like this available, but now there's one available with a little bit of a twist. It's slightly different. The Anyada watch store got in touch with me and said, "We've got another new mysterious code. Are you interested in reviewing it?" They sent me some pictures. It looks very, very nice. And it is, well, similar to this, but not exactly the same. So, of course, I said, yes, please. And here it is. They've sent me the watch for free to review for you guys. And I will be putting some affiliate links in my video description. And in this video, I'm going to be running through all the facts, figures, stats, and specifications. Green thumbs up, red thumbs down, lovely macro shots. And, yeah, a little summary at the end. And if you're interested in this watch, of course, I'd love for you to use my affiliate links. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? Now for your reference, here is my 38mm 1963 that I bought around 5 years ago from Poljot24. As you can see, it's a far more traditional looking version of the 1963 homage. And I think that becomes more obvious when we jump straight back to the mysterious code version. Now the first thing I noticed when I unboxed this watch was those sunken subdials. That's definitely something a little bit different to your more traditional 1963. And there are some other differences as well, which I will run through when I run through the facts, figures, stats and specifications. Right, let's kick things off talking about the price and the movement and the options. So you can pick this watch up from the Anyada watch store from AliExpress. It is, of course, a mysterious code, and I think there might be some sort of connection between the Anyada watch store and that brand. There are two other options available. They have black and yellow subdials, but I opted for the more traditional looking watch, and I really do like those sunken, sort of sunburst subdials. Definitely adds a different dimension to this watch. And of course it wouldn't be a 1963 if it didn't contain the Sea-Gull ST1901, and look at the size of that display case back. Let's compare that to the watch that I already own. It has the same movement in it, but a significantly smaller display case back. Look at that. So you're seeing a lot more of the movement on the new watch. Cracking movements. Look at that. Not only does the movement look good, it functions very, very nicely. It is a mechanical chronograph movement, non-hacking, hand wind only, so it's not an automatic. 41 hours of power reserve, so every day and a half you're going to need to put some power into this movement to keep it going. You've got the minute hand and the hour hand on the main dial. This second hand here is the running seconds hand for the chronograph. Let me just show you that working. Start and then stop and then reset down here, and it centers beautifully, which is really, really nice. You don't have that problem that you have with some mecha quartz movements where when you reset it, it's slightly offset. This one is centered beautifully. Running seconds hand for the time down here, and a 30-minute subdial for the chronograph there. And here is the movement in a little bit more detail. It is mesmeric. I was blown away when I first saw this watch with this movement in it. It just does not look like a movement that should be in, well, what really is, let's be honest, a very affordable watch. And these movements are very popular. They're not just in 1963 homages. They find their way into all sorts of watches on AliExpress. Stunning, isn't it? And this extra large display case back really helps to show it off. Very nice. And while we're here, let's have a look at the case back mysterious code and then the model number at the bottom there. 6 screws, so it is a screwed down case back. The crown is a pull push crown, giving the watch 50 meters of water resistance. Right, let's give you some dimensions and then we can talk through the materials. We have a case diameter of around, I'm measuring that at a smidge under 40 millimeters. Thickness, including the domed crystal, is 13.6. Case length is 46.5. Lug width, 21. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. And the leather strap tapers down to 18mm. Now, unfortunately, the Anyada watch store have accidentally sent me a prototype, and the only difference between this watch and the full production watch is the crystal covering the dial. If I test this crystal, you'll see it tests negative for sapphire. Now, I did reach out to the Anyada watch store and I asked them to send me a video of them testing the crystal on one of their full production watches, so I'm including that footage in the video. It will be a very nice piece of box double domed sapphire crystal with blue AR coating. If I flip the watch over, look, you'll see that this watch has sapphire in the case back, and the full production watch will also have sapphire, so it will be a sapphire sandwich. Nice. Something that isn't in keeping with the original watch is the case material. It is titanium, as is the buckle on the strap. As you can see, it does look a little bit darker than your traditional stainless steel. You've got some brushed surfaces on the main part of the case, brushed sides and brushed lugs, and then a high polished titanium bezel around that crystal there, and you've got some polished pushers at the 2 and 4 and a polished crown at the 3 o'clock with the letter M for mysterious code. And the finishing does look pretty good, I've got to say. Very nice satin brushing, titanium case back as well, or partially titanium I should say. And again, it looks very nicely finished. The watch comes with a very nice brown leather strap. You've got some tan stitching, quick release spring bars, 21mm down to 18mm. It's quite a thin strap, very soft and supple. It reminds me a lot of the straps that come on the Escapement time dress watches, actually. Let's give it a quick sniff test. Yeah. Oh, very strong leather smell. Yeah, it's quite a nice strap, actually. Now that I've told you it is titanium, let's weigh it. 62.5 grams. Right, let's show you this dial in a little bit more detail. You've got some gilt applied indices and numerals at the 5-minute markers, except of course the 3 and the 9 because of those sub-dials. You have blue minute and hour hands. I'm not entirely sure if they are blued or not. I don't think they are. They match the hands on the sub-dials, and a red seconds hand for the chronograph. 21 jewels under the star at the 12. Looks nicely done. I like the fact that everything seems to be in proportion. The dial is obviously bigger on this watch than it is on my other watch, but the numerals are also therefore larger, as are the hands. Yeah, everything has been scaled up to keep it all within proportion, and yeah, it's a good looking watch. Nothing looks out of proportion. The hands reach right out to the outer edges of the dial. Right, let's run through what I consider to be the strengths and the weaknesses. I really do like the sunken sub-dials on the dial. That's pretty cool. The large display case back, that's fantastic. Being able to see much more of that movement, yeah, it's really, really nice. I love the fact that the seconds hand on the main dial centers when you reset it. That's pretty cool. Seems to be a decent strap as well. Nice hardware. Yeah, matches the color of the case, which is nice. The finishing of the titanium looks pretty good. Titanium isn't the easiest to finish nicely, and I have to say they've done a pretty good job. I think it looks good. They've done a really good job of scaling up everything to fit this larger case. So proportionally, I think it looks bang on, and it is just a gorgeous watch. I love it. And of course, the movement has to be a strength. I think this is a very well respected Sea-Gull movement. It looks beautiful. It generally works very, very nicely. Yeah, great movement. I think there are a few weaknesses though. 21mm lug width. I would have preferred 20 or 22 because, well, I've got lots of 20 and 22mm straps to put it on. I'm also not completely convinced by the design of the buckle. I don't think it's really in keeping with the style of the watch, unfortunately. Now, the watch is slightly bigger than average because I think the traditional size for this watch is 38mm. It's only a couple of millimeters bigger, and they've put it on a nice strap, but my 7¼ inch-ish wrist needs the smallest fitting. It is a touch tight. I would like something to sit somewhere in between the smallest and the next smallest one, and I've measured that distance. It is almost 190mm. So it's not going to be suitable on this strap for, well, average to smaller than average wrists. It looks like it will go up to a fairly decent size, but yeah, I'm using it on this smallest option here. I personally think the 40mm case diameter and the slight variations in the design and the materials used has to be a good thing. Had they come out and just made another 1963 that looks a lot like, well, the 1963s that are already readily available on AliExpress, yeah, we wouldn't have paid a blind bit of notice, but they've definitely made something a little bit different. Titanium, sunken subdials, 40mm in diameter. They've put their branding on it. Not completely convinced that is going to be a wise decision. But yeah, still a great looking watch, beautifully made. Yeah, it's nice to have it available, isn't it? Let me know, guys, what you think of it in the comments section. Yeah, I like it very much. Right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. As always, massive thank you from me to you for tuning in. I do really appreciate it, guys. I'll be back very, very soon. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves.